Hi, Jason.
Okay, unable to see.
I believe you can see my screen.
Yes, I can see
Yes,
your
we can
screen.
see. Um, I think we've lost you on the PowerPoint there. So the agenda for the PowerPoint is just to make an introduction to the falling knives in the Nigerian stock market, identify the falling knife, build the falling knife signal prediction model, and lastly, we will compare the model results to the ASI actual returns. So you can go on the next slide. So I think firstly on defining the falling knife, the definition that we went with was this refers to a stock that is experiencing a sharp decline in prices, with the potential to continue falling. And if you look into the Nigerian stock exchange market, why it was a good case study for this project, if you see the all share index, you can see that there's been a lot of dips on the market. That is from 1985 to up until 2024. I know the chart is small, but I hope you can see the dips. So for us to be able to get the data, we use the free market module. I think you can go on the next slide. And then our main objective is to develop a model that signals that a falling knife is happening within the Nigerian stock exchange market. We cannot predict that it will happen, so we can only signal if it is currently happening, and that is like our main objective. So the first goal is to provide a systematic approach to detecting that a falling knife is early in its decline. Then secondly, after building the model, we can be able to compare the model predictions with the actual performance of the Nigerian Stock Exchange all share index to gauge currency. And then lastly, we can be able to use that data to offer actionable insights to investors. You can go on the next slide. I think you can. I will let you take over from here.
Okay, thank you, Rutendo. So this part of the slide talks about how we were able to the process that goes into building of the falling knife strategy. Okay, so we are going to be looking at obviously like about 2 to 3 of the processes. So the first part has to do with creating the indicators. So because we tend to use a machine learning algorithm to predict the falling knife, so we'll be using the indicators as the features. So creating the indicators, then the idea is we use a way, since it is a machine learning process, we need to label the data. All right. So we use the directional change event to label the data. So once there is a reversal, so that reversal point can be the end of the falling knife. Okay. So stationarity and normalization of the indicators, that is to make sure that our data is stationary and also normalized. And then the model training and validation process and combinatorial cross validation. The last step was suggested by Yose. So that was introduced as well. So I'm sorry. So the indicators we made use of, because of the data we are working with has no volume in it, so we had to like stick to these indicators. So the trend indicator and the momentum indicator. Although we also included the Bollinger Band, but these two sets of indicators, trends and momentum, were the primary indicators that we used in this project. So the EMA, MACD, SME, RSI, and PPO, and ROC. So these are the indicators that were used. So this is how we were able to label the data. Meanwhile, sorry, so these indicators acted as the features, and this is how we got the label. Okay. Okay, so this is how we label the data. So this code, although this is not the full code, all right, but this code allows us this process, this directional change. Okay, this slide is for directional change. The directional change was the process that was used to label the data. Okay, and the indicators acted as the features. Okay, so the next part after labeling the data using directional change method was stationarity and normalization of the indicators. Well, since this is a time series data and this is machine learning, our features needs to be normalized and stationary. So these are the processes that allowed us to do that. So we applied the augmented Dickey-Fuller test to check for stationarity at first, and then if it wasn't stationary, then we applied the successive differencing. Okay, so then the next part was normalization. We used the Jackie-Berer test for normality, and then we used our Jackie-Berer test to test for normality, and we used the Min-Max scalar to normalize our data. So we have not fully documented how the entire process went. Okay, but these are the the processes that we followed, which is not like fully done yet. So I believe from here Rutendo can take over.
Okay,
Hello, Rutendo.
thank you, Ambrose. Yes. So like Ambrose said that we have not fully completed like the model. I think from here our next steps will be uh our next steps will be to compare the model results to the ASI actual returns, which is where we were at. And we, at this point, we have questions that we wanted to ask you, Jose, pertaining the summary statistics that you, I think, on our last meeting together,